So since the NBA got shut down on March 11th and the season got suspended, and players have had time to get fit and use their time however they needed to, and some players have been put into use and getting working out or putting their game to the next level. But there have been two key players that we've seen that got lost weight and have been way more fit, and those two players were Nikola Jokic and James Harden, and their teams are both in the playoffs, and they're really good teams. So how much of an impact will this make for teams whose players got skinnier? Like I said, James Harden of the Houston Rockets and Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets.
Well, let's go with James Harden first. I really think James Harden will definitely improve with his drastic transformation. Because if you see his game, he was already very explosive with his handles, his shot, his floaters, his layups, and his ability to draw fouls. And because he will be so much more explosive with all the cardio work and weight loss that he's put in to work. He'll be even less tired carrying such a huge load in Houston. I really think the Rockets will do much better and will continue to elevate themselves among the playoff threats in the West. However, Nikola Jokic's weight loss is somewhat tricky to assess because most of his game meant bumping bodies with other players in the post, backing them down, which is somewhat difficult to do when you're skinny. However, he's still a really great passer, so I do believe he will have a big impact in games. But I don't really know what his game will be like, and it will definitely be most interesting to see. And this could cause some concerns for other teams when facing the Nuggets, which is a good thing for the Nuggets, as they will have no idea what Jokic will do now, and they won't know how to prepare for it.
Yeah, I think with these players getting losing weight, they can make these teams into almost title contenders. I know that like they were really close, especially the Nuggets last year and the Rockets 2 years back. They're considered title contenders, and they can be back in that conversation as teams that could possibly make it. But I think it helps James, like you said, James Harden the most because he can play clutch minutes, and you could tell in the playoffs that he wasn't really the player he was in the regular season, especially in the clutch. He wasn't really that player that he was before. So I think him losing that weight kind of helps him because now he's not that as tired as he was before, and he can help the team move on and be successful. But for Jokic, it's kind of questionable because like you said, he's like a back to the basket type of player, and he needs to be big to bully those players in the post. So him being skinnier, I don't know if that helps him really, but we will see when the NBA season will resume. But I think it helps him because he was a really slow player for the Nuggets. He was like the last man on defense or the last man on offense. So I think with him losing weight, he can be faster and he can be in games longer because he's not as tired as he was before.
Well, Jeremy, let me ask you a question. How do you think Nikola Jokic's game will change? Do you think that he will be back to the basket again, or do you think he'll play on the perimeter a little more?
I think he'll still be the same player. I mean, we don't know what he's done basketball wise, like with his game. So we don't, I don't know, but I think he's still going to be that same player we saw him before the NBA season got suspended. He just might take a little time because he's skinnier, and he's not the player that we all see him as. But I think he can still play that position well that he plays.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Well, I think it may change his game. I think he may go more on the perimeter. I do feel like he's really good on the perimeter with his ability to shoot, and his ability to pass will definitely help him, as he won't be able to bully bigs as much. But because of his ability to pass, he'll be able to play on the perimeter with his skinnier build, and he'll be able to pass in backdoor cut situations and pick and rolls.
Yeah, yeah. I think he can kind of play both. But do you think they will continue to stay in shape, or will they bulk back up after the season and maybe next season when we see them during media day? Do you think they will be the same as they are now?
Well, I think Harden will be. We all know he will be more explosive coming into the season now that he's lost his weight. And I think it'll only help him when he's carrying such a huge load in Houston. And I think he knows this, and he knows that it'll help him a lot. So he'll probably stay this way. But Jokic may be a different story. Jokic may not gain fat, but if he wants to continue to play bully ball in the post, he'll probably have to bulk up in his muscle. And I really think that's what he'll do because he's so comfortable backing down bigs in the post.
Yeah, I think they can maintain it because they've been maintaining it for about 2 months. So I think they have the ability to do that. But Harden is probably the one I trust more because he had this issue and he's trying to fix it. And he's a type of guy that wants to improve his game. Ever since he got traded from OKC to the Rockets, he's really improved his game and he has tried to become the best player that he can possibly be. And Kendrick Perkins said that this was an issue for him and for James Harden, and that he needed to that players were getting on him to lose weight, and now I think that since he's finally has, I think I think he'll be able to maintain it. But with Jokic, I don't know because he's a type of guy that you you need in the post, but every season you see him during media day, he gains way more weight. So I think Nikola Jokic, like you said, needs to gain more muscle, but not particularly fat.
Yeah. So you don't think Harden will bulk up, right?
No, I don't think so because
Okay.
he's maintained it and he's thriving to become the best player that he can.
Do you think he'll bulk up in muscle at all?
Possibly you may see him like maybe not now because of the whole situation we have, but maybe next season and during like the All-Star break, you may see him get more muscles, and he has a like a mentor in Russell Westbrook because he's a guy that's been fit his entire career. So I think he can learn from Russell Westbrook.
Okay, if he does bulk up in muscle, I think it'll definitely change his game as he'll take it to the rack even more. I don't think he'll take as many step back jump shots with all the muscle he gained. Do you think right now, what's the biggest part of his game that'll change now that he became skinny?
I think it will help him more in like the clutch because he's been playing almost like 36 to 40 minutes every game, and now it helps him even more because he can get to the rack whenever he wants to, and he can shoot jump back step back threes whenever he wants to. So I think with him getting skinnier, I think it helps the team out because when he drives to the paint, almost every player on the opposing team like goes towards him, try to block it, so he can just pass it out to players like PJ Tucker on the in the corner, or players like Russell Westbrook who can cut in and get an easy layup or dunk.
Okay, that makes sense. And I do agree with you. Because he's skinnier, he'll definitely be able to take it to the rack more. And on previous episodes, we said that Harden's shooting numbers do look somewhat like tour dates. Like 1 for 16, one
Yeah,
for 2 for 17. I do feel like that'll change now. I think he'll become a more efficient player because he'll be taking it to the rack a lot more. I feel like he took step back jumpers because he was more tired throughout the course of the game. He drove less, but now since he's Now since he's skinnier, he won't be tired as much, and he'll be able to drive more. And I think you can see an uptick in his efficiency.
Yeah, I think he will be a way better player, but we'll have to see when the NBA season resumes on July 30th.